But he loves me.
Yes, it is. I am in her living room right now. She is like a foot away from my foot.
Ew. I just thought about like feet holding each other like hands.
Someone prompt that.
No, don't.
Please do. If you don't, I will. Hello. David, if you are talking, still cannot hear you.
Oh, oh, oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Pretty sure there's an actual bug in Discord at this point. Does this literally every time I get on. Um, okay. Everybody come on. Boop-a-doop. Let me know when it levels off. We'll get started in a minute.
All right. Looks like it's about leveled off.
All right. Thank you for coming, everybody, to the weekly Midjourney office hours. We do these every week at Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Basically, the way that this works is we talk about what we're thinking about, what we're working on, we give different updates, and then we take questions. Cool. So let's get started. The main things we're working on are getting out some of the social stuff onto the website. Don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but it's a pretty big update. I feel like it's not next week, but I hope it's the week after. We are also going to try to release turbo mode and the new describe soon. I don't know what the status of those things are. I think the describe, we had an issue with deploying it. We wanted to do it today. For turbo, I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna do the turbo mode soon for V6. The turbo mode is pretty cool. It'll probably be like, I don't know exactly the numbers, but like 2x more expensive and 3x faster. So probably around like 9 seconds to make an image, which I think would be the fastest turbo mode has ever been. Ancient, do you remember how turbo usually was like 15 seconds, right? For V5? I don't remember.
It was 15 or less, I think. Usually a bit lower.
Yeah, so this will be the fastest turbo mode ever. It's pretty intense to have the V6 so fast. Definitely helps for parties and presentations and group things. We'll get even faster eventually, but I think the first version we're going to do will be about 3.5 times faster or something. There's also more speed ups coming to normal V6. I don't know exactly when we'll push those, but that will hopefully make it cheaper and faster for everybody. And then, so the turbo mode, the new describe, we have a character reference feature we're going to try to push. Don't know exactly what day we're going to launch it on. I was trying to get everyone to do it Friday, but we've been just a little slower lately because some people have been out. So I think in theory it's ready to go. We were testing a near final version yesterday, and the guides and mods are playing with it. It's probably not the character. It's probably not going to be perfect. Like if you want the mold to be in a specific area on someone's face, it's not going to do that. If you want to have like the same logo on a shirt across images, it's not going to do that. But um, it does make it a lot easier to do things across images. We may have fairly intense moderation on it to begin with. I think we're still debating exactly how strong it's going to be, but I think we might make it so it's supposed to sort of be only Midjourney made images at first, rather than sort of any image off the internet. I think we want to make it so it can be any image off the internet, but then we'll have extra moderation to make sure it's kind of like not negative sentiment images. But that's sort of incoming still. What else? There'll be a new style reference system coming out that'll be more accurate. We're working on style random, which will make different random styles. Working on a style explorer, that'll be pretty good. Sorry, is everyone complaining about my audio? No. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I think the coolest thing that the character references is for is where actually you take like a cartoon, you make it like a photo, or a photo and make a cartoon. Like that's kind of neat when you kind of hold the character the same but change the style. If you keep the style the same, if you style reference any character reference, it's definitely pretty good. There's sort of going to be different levels of character reference. We're going to have like a character reference weight. So if you turn the weight up, it will sort of try to mimic the hairdo and the clothing. And then if you turn it down, it will sort of just do the face. And so they're both useful for different things. The new style reference will be better at separating objects from style, so you will get less bleed in. And yep. There have been some speed issues on the servers lately. We're in the process of changing how a lot of our server backend works. Part of this is for turbo mode, part of this is for new optimizations that'll make it faster for everyone. And it's a little bumpy at times, so the wait times have been higher than they should be occasionally. I apologize for that. But it is getting better, and it will generally involve like basically all the wait times for relaxed mode will probably go way down, and the speeds will go up, and the costs will go down. There's going to be like a bunch of improvements, but it involves changing a lot of our infrastructure. Yep. For the moment, character reference won't be more than one character, just one character at a time. I think you might be able to use it with inpainting and sort of like outpainting and things like that, but it's kind of complicated. We had a bit of a outage on Saturday. It's pretty rare that we have like a 24-hour outage on part of our service, so we'll do a little debrief of that here. So on Saturday, it was around like midnight. We started getting some kind of really intense sort of botnet-like activity across our web servers from sort of paid accounts in unusual ways. And what basically ended up happening is there was somebody trying to grab every single prompt and image pair from every single member of the community really quickly in the middle of the night. And basically, it was sort of so intense and sort of so unusual, it basically brought down part of our database. So we were trying to figure out what happened, and to the best of our knowledge, it was from a paid account with 2 credit cards linking to an unusual name, which appeared to be somebody at Stability AI who was in charge of data for the new Stable Diffusion model. So it seems like basically there is a Stability. It seems like Stability was trying to basically grab all the prompt and image pairs from all of the members in the middle of the night on a Saturday, and took down our servers for 24 hours. So I don't really know what to do in those sort of situations. It's not super cool. So probably what we're gonna so in general, we have a policy where if you moderate stuff, we're gonna ban you. And if you're a like venture-backed company with a valued at $1 billion or whatever they are, and then you take down our service for 24 hours, I think we have to do something a little bit more intense. So I think what we're probably going to do is we have to kind of send a message that it's not okay to take down the servers. So we're going to ban all of the stability employees from the Midjourney service sort of indefinitely. And so, they is a 200-person company, so they probably hard to say exact. It will take maybe a little while to ban everyone, but basically, if we had banned them proactively, they wouldn't have had those accounts and they wouldn't have brought the service down. So I think we're going to ban everybody. I've given the go ahead. The moderators will start basically collecting the names and handing out the bans. I'm sorry for anybody who gets caught up who's innocent, but it's sort of, like, it sort of seems like the right thing to do. So, a bit of a purge. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, as a reminder, as a takeaway, like, don't do automation on our servers. Don't do aggressive automation on our servers. Don't do automation on our servers that's aggressive in the middle of the night on a Saturday to try to prevent us from stopping you. And do not take down our service for all of the community. So, part of the problem was here is that it was done in the middle of the night. It took down our servers. It took down the servers in a new way that we never had seen before. It honestly took our because like it's it's in the middle of the night on a Saturday, right? So like people are waking up and people are trying to figure out what's going on, and it kind of ruins the weekend of a lot of people here. So it's not great to do that to our engineering team, and it's also like it took us a while to fix it. It was kind of a weird break, so you know yeah. I mean, we're pretty sure it was. It basically had there were two credit cards linked to the accounts that had very unusual names for a very specific person on LinkedIn who lists themselves as being in charge of all the data for the stable diffusion models, and it had the same address basically. So, I mean, they probably could have head in the tracks better, but I think that in general, people feel like that there isn't a lot of responsibility. So, and I think in this case, the way that we're holding it responsible is just to ban all of the employees and say, we're done here. So yeah, not great. I would say that when our stuff goes down for like 12 or 24 hours, it does take like something pretty unusual. So yeah, this has happened once in the last year. Besides this, and it was also from another startup trying to break our servers. It was a small startup, but we did the same thing where we banned all their employees. So I think now we're basically making a new policy, which is like you take down our website and we ban all the employees permanently. Uh, yeah. So basically, uh, you can't really. It's not really about the public URLs. It's about like it's actually pretty hard to get all the images. You have to use paid accounts. You have to like ping a bunch of APIs. You have to do some pretty, you have to kind of do some complicated stuff to try to do this. So it was definitely very like it's not a beginner project to try to do that. So it was relatively sophisticated, but not super sophisticated. Um, yeah, other AI labs have done this in more sophisticated ways, where it didn't take down the service. But I think the worst thing here is just don't take the Midjourney servers down for the regular users. Like it's pretty scary because as our website becomes maybe the main place that people make Midjourney images on, if somebody takes our website down for 24 hours, it could people literally no one can make images anymore. So it's just obviously everyone just wants to make pictures here. So yeah, like let them make their pictures. Do not take our servers down. That's it. So I apologize again for the outage. I would like to emphasize that outages like that are pretty rare. It takes effectively like a hostile actor for it to happen. Um, so yeah, sorry about that. Let them make their pictures. Let the people make the pictures. Yeah. So let's yeah. So anyway, what else is going on? V7 is starting to train. It's gonna be really good. And video models are also doing lots of stuff. And we've been trying to do some drawing things, but the drawing things haven't been working great so far. So we're working on a better drawing thing. And we'll see if that works better. We were thinking of doing some color consistency things, but we might hold that off and invest a little bit more in style stuff for a bit. So we're going to try to do a style explorer, and that'll be really cool. When we do video, it's going to be really good, but I think we want to make sure that it's like affordable and a good user interface. So we don't want it to take 10 minutes to make a 1-minute video, and we want to have some kind of like coherent user flow. And so probably take our time, but when we do, it'll be really good. What else is going on? I think they're starting to roll out stuff in China. I don't know exactly the details, but you might, if somebody's out there and they see some Midjourney stuff, yeah, they're trying to have like a more China dedicated interface. We are testing some control nets. That's like how we're going to do the sketching. Yeah. I feel like I'm running out. I keep thinking there's more stuff, but I think the biggest things are the website. Oh, we might do some of these integrations with the other chatbots. That's something we're still looking at, but it's hard to say exactly the right time for when it'll happen. I might actually try to do something kind of like a prompt, like a daily theme kind of thing on Twitter. Like some kind of way of doing a prompt jam on Twitter. But I don't know. We'll see if it works. Like in theory, you could make a thread and it could be cool, but we're playing around with it. Niji news. The Niji will also have character consistency, so that's good. The website is gonna be sort of not default for a while. We're gonna try to get the social things in the website next. I think that's the next biggest thing, and then we need the news on the website, and then we need a feedback thing on the website, and then we're gonna start to let more people in. We are looking to offer a yearly magazine thing where they kind of bind all the it's like a big booklet of all the last year's magazines. And so that'll be really cool. We did improve the mobile thing on the website, so we completely redid the mobile interface on the website. We're probably going to change it again in pretty big ways. It was kind of like a bit makeshift, but it's definitely a lot more functional now, which is great. Yeah, there'll be like a Midjourney book. It'll be like a yearly book, which will be pretty cool. What else is going on? I think that's it for now. Let's do a quick lightning round because I'm kind of running out of things. So type your questions in the VC text, and I'm happy to answer. We do want to do more things like the Grimes event last week. That was really cool. I think we're still trying to figure out a better way to do it. I don't think we're going to ship the new to describe today, but I was trying to. So it's basically blocked on server stuff, but it's ready to go. Hopefully we'll launch a turbo mode today. I'm trying to see. Yeah, the turbo mode. People are sleeping. I did see the new Dune. I kind of like Dune 1 better, or the 1980s one better, but the 3 worms was pretty cool. We're gonna try to upgrade our user feedback stuff. It's we have some new ideas on how to do it better, but it's kind of been blocked on a lot of the web things. So we're gonna hopefully have a public leaderboard soon for the feedback, which will be exciting. Somebody asked a good question too. I don't remember. Dream data set. I think a dream data set would just be like a massive, like there's lots of photos of the world, like huge drone swarms. All the birds. We take over. Birds aren't real. They're just Midjourney robots that are taking photos. Yeah, the 1980s Dune movie was really great. It had Patrick Stewart as Gurney, I think. It was really epic. We're not sure if the Stable Diffusion people grab the images or just all the image links plus the user prompts. I think probably the intention was to get the images too, but you kind of have to take first the URLs to the images and then you get the images. So usually grabbing stuff is like it's at least 3 steps to try to grab a lot of the data. So they did the first 2 steps and then we banned everybody. Yeah, at least that's what seems to have happened. We will improve in painting one day, but it's lower on the priority right now. I think we want to change how references work on the website, but I'm not sure how it's going to be. To the extent that you can own an image like that you make with our service, we grant rights to it as long as you're a paid member and all the other stuff in the terms of service. V7 will probably start training fully in like a week or two, probably like 2 weeks, and then it usually takes 2 weeks to train and then another 2 weeks to tune. So then if we fuck up, it takes another 2 weeks, so it's probably like 2 months. We are still doing 3D, but 3D has been bottlenecked on data, so we're basically going to work on some 3D data collection stuff. I think CREF is not going to take in pictures of external people right now, but when it does, we'll probably make it so it can only do positive images. And then if anybody sort of mistreats it, we'll let people report things and we'll ban them really strongly. I don't think our video stuff will be similar to any of the other companies. I think all the other companies are probably taking the wrong approach, but it's okay. You know, some of them are cool still. But yeah, we're thinking of having a color thing that matches another image. A histogram reference is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, eventually doing a lot of references are a cool idea. We'll try to launch the character reference this week. Can I PayPal you a new car? Don't like driving. I like to walk. Where are we? If I was a professor, what would I teach? I don't know, man. Physics or philosophy? Astronomy? I'm not sure. I used to do astronomy a little. Did Midjourney China steal the info from Midjourney? There's a Midjourney China group. They work with us. They're not stealing anything from us. They're building a different front end for China, for the regulation there. We're gonna try to do the characteristic this week. I've been playing with the new Claude. It's quite good. I think Claude is my new favorite large language model. You can use character and style consistency together. If I was a vampire, what kind would I be? I'm not really. I don't really know. I guess the vampires in Vampire Hunter D are pretty cool. They're like the 10,000 ones. 10,000 years in the future, and they have technology and stuff. So I guess I'd either be like a Vampire Hunter D vampire, or I'd be like a cat vampire, which I don't know if it's a thing or not, but I like cats. Will there be a lifetime license? Probably not, because it's hard to predict costs, but The yearly subscriptions are really great. It helps us buy more machines. So we've bought out a bunch of machines. We're in the process of upgrading our infrastructure. We're hoping that the turbo mode and all sorts of other speed ups and lower cost things will come in the next week or two. So V6 is going to start getting really fast, which will be great. The very region will improve at one point, but probably in V7 or V8. Not necessarily in V6 because it's really complicated right now. Is Charactéristiques good enough for comics? I mean, depending on the character, I think it's fine, but I mean, nothing's perfect yet. So, I think the style consistency, characteristic are a huge step forward for the V6, but it will be a lot better in V7. I'm not sure how long we'll do video, like what kind of video generation length we're doing. I generally think that trying to be the longest or the highest resolution is not necessarily the goal, but to just be good. The very region, I think, works on the website, or maybe there's a bug and they're going to fix it soon, so it'll probably be back within the day. You're not supposed to have many users using one account, so please buy multiple accounts. The way that we do the limits assumes one user per account, so at some point we're just losing a lot of money, and it's not sort of great for us. We lose money on a lot of users, but we kind of try to do it so that it's sort of like time sharing, where on the whole it's okay. My favorite thing in the physical world to start is Midjourney image. I don't know. It's a good question. I know people are using it for a lot of architecture. I've seen some cool architecture. If Midjourney was a sandwich, what would it be? I don't know, man. That's. I think there was what's it called? An alligator sub. I used to like these at when I grew up in Florida. There's a thing called an alligator sub at JJ. Was it? I don't know. Alligator. It had like steak, kielbasa, bacon, chicken, swamp sauce, which I think was like, I don't know, like ranch and a little mayo or something. It was like an everything sub. That was the best. It's got a bit of everything. So a Midjourney sandwich is an everything sandwich. Boo boo. The old describe will be available if you're in V5 mode, I think is the plan, but if you're in V6 mode, it'll be the V6 one. What is that person saying? Midjourney China is just a part of Midjourney, so they're just using APIs. I'm not a huge fan of stock photography or stock photos, so I don't think we're doing anything there. Claude is a new AI that's kind of a competitor to ChatGPT. It's probably the best right now. Relax mode in V7? Yeah, there'll be relax mode in V7. We're always planning on keeping relax mode. What? Is Elon gonna buy the presidency? I don't know what that means, man. Midjourney API will probably happen one day, but not for a while. The China Midjourney app is sort of like a Electron app, so it's sort of like it's kind of like a website, but it's a desktop app, kind of like Slack. It's pretty similar, but it has some different features for organizing stuff in different ways. I think it's pretty similar though. It has less social features. It has more moderation features for the local regulator stuff, and yeah, it's pretty similar. I think they're still figuring it out too, to be honest. We don't have any feedback result stuff this week. We're gonna try to just do a leaderboard next week, hopefully. The Claude just seems smarter and it's a better at speaking. Have you been, David, have you really been far even as decided to use even go want to do more like? Sorry, I don't know what that means. That was really hard for me to read.
That is a long-running meme.
A what? Meme?
Yeah.
Oh, I got memed. Uh, we're looking at alpha transparency one day, but it's not a high priority right now. The face references is a little like face swap, but it's not super accurate. And in general, we're trying not to do something super, yeah, maybe for V7. Cool. When you make video, will you join TikTok? I don't know. Maybe. The idea of having like a first party TikTok feels a little cringe. Like, if we release a Midjourney video system, then the video should be coming from people making stuff, not from us. So it feels like it only makes sense for Midjourney to have a TikTok if we're the only ones who can make the video. But if we're the only ones who can make the video, why do we do that? So in general, we're not going to be like a lot of the other AI companies where they do things specifically for hype. We're not trying to raise money from Saudi Arabia. We have a community that supports us. We are a community supported research lab. We, you know, it's a new thing. We're not venture capital based. We're not, we're not we're not funded by the government. We're not funded by Microsoft. We're funded by a community that hopefully likes what we're doing. So I think it's a pretty cool model. But because of that, like we don't need to do sort of the normal hype cycle stuff. Like we need to talk like instead of sort of having a TikTok account, we just talk to the community every week. So I think that's a little bit more real. Yeah, it's a little more real. So it's kind of interesting because like I do this every week, and honestly, it's not super easy. It takes up a lot of energy. And I'm not saying everybody else has to do it every week, but it's kind of crazy that like none of the other AI labs or tech companies even they don't even do it once a year. Like they could do it once a year, once a quarter, once a month, but they don't have to do it every week. But it would be cool if they did something like this once a year, maybe like twice a year, you know? Um, yeah. Yeah. It's not that crazy. People do this internally. So, office hours is sort of a thing that, like, when you're a tech company and you have 100 people, you start doing this just to kind of align everybody. I'm not aware of people who've kind of done it externally before, but it just does kind of make sense. Yeah. The, 1 second. In Yeah, sorry. Lots of crazy messages. I'm a little spacey today. I think I was up a little late last night playing StarCraft. I'm gonna be honest. Need to was that was my new thing kind of helping me keep my sanity. StarCraft 2, fun game. I love StarCraft 1 also. I play Protoss. Just we're gonna level here. It's been weird, like weirdly I've as you get stressed sometimes, just I don't know. It's weird how relaxing StarCraft is. Anyway, I think think that I don't see any other questions. So why don't we get some people up on voice and then we'll chat for a bit. Any voice questions?
Again, David, fifth time caller. How are you,
Hello.
buddy? First of all, thank you for all the energy that you put into office hours as always, because I think this community really appreciates it. And I talk with people a lot about Midjourney, and I brag about how you do this and how cool that is. So, I just have a quick question that I've been thinking of asking you is that we can create images that are really simple and not very valuable. Let us say we create like a page of a coloring book, right? It's not like worth much. Yet we can also produce images that are like literally worth a ton potentially. For example, I can produce one of the most beautiful BMW cars like I have ever seen. So my question is to you, what do you think is like an example, other examples that you may have noticed where it's like a simple prompt can create something that potentially has the maximum value?
Wait, say that again.
So it's like
I
this. It's like I can produce like things that are kind of like meaningless, right? Just like a frog with a hat on. But I can also produce something that could potentially become or inspire the next world's tallest building, right?
Mhm.
So I guess I was asking you, what do you think are the most like for like simple things that you might type in, what's the maximum amount of like value you could get out of any one image?
well, I don't know what does value mean? Like money, social.
Maybe it's like literally impacting humanity in some important way, or yeah, I guess it could be monetary or to have some effect on in something that causes like some beneficial thing for humanity even.
Oh, I've definitely seen a lot of like I think right now Midjourney feels more therapeutic than sort of singular like make something that makes singularly impactful images. Like I see a lot of it feels like a Lulu something. It's like Lulu something Instagram. They make like these beautiful libraries that look really relaxing, and people just feel good seeing them. Seen a lot of architecture stuff, making really like evocative stuff. Not
Mhm.
saying that we should make these buildings, but that we should sort of re. We should not be scared to change how we think.
And I think
You
that
know,
like when I sorry, go ahead.
I think the current level of Midjourney image generation is sort of at this more at a therapeutic and reflective level where people are thinking about what do we want, like who are we, what are our aesthetics, how can things be,
Mhm.
more than it is about trying to create some specific image that has some specific impact. It's yeah, I think it's there's an argument. Uh, Grimes said to me once that we can only create what we first imagine, and so there's a sense of like we're kind of imagining, I think, for the first time in a lot of ways, and we're trying to figure out what we want to create. And I think that's going to eventually result in a lot of creation. But I think right now, Midjourney is more about play, and I think it's
What do you
important
think?
to play before to learn, and kind of like a child playing with crayons or something. And obviously, you can make stuff and you can use stuff, and it's great. But I don't think it's really at the level of being serious yet. And I think it will get pretty serious, in a few years. But it's going to keep changing every few months in a way where it seemed like it wasn't serious before, you know?
Mhm.
Like V3 doesn't seem serious now that you see V5, and then V5 doesn't seem totally serious once you see V6, and V6 won't seem serious when you see V7. So it's kind of, in some ways, none of it's really serious until we get to some slightly higher level, you know? So that's why I try to get people to share their prompts and talk to each other, and because it's not really about trying to save up the best prompt right now or try to create some long lasting value. I think it's more about play and communicating and thinking and reflecting and kind of getting the therapy that we all need.
Really have just been in experiences though with my own like I've had some pretty high profile meetings with people where I've showed them some of the images and they have been just like impacted. And then those people come back to me weeks later and they're like, man, I can't stop thinking about that thing. It's like some random thing. And if you put these ideas in people's heads, if they're sufficiently high profile, for example, the CEO of some architecture firm, like it could have real and lasting impacts. So like I hear you about the fact that it is play now in comparison to the future, but personally, I feel that some of these images have very high impacts on people and potentially like events and things and ideas that people come up with because creative directors often will be like, yeah, I was thinking of that thing, but now this other thing is just I can't get it out of my head and it's like a totally new way to look at it. And like that impact on the individual human like will have massive effects one way or another. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember getting more impacted by individual images early on. I definitely think it changes over time as you kind of just sort of swim through your 10,000 images. Like your
Yeah.
relationship to imagery changes, you know?
That's healthy though, because it's like, wow, that first one was A plus, and now that like 2 months later, that very one looks like a C minus compared to what's today, and that effect will happen like every year with your efforts, wouldn't you say?
It's hard to say what the value of it's hard to sort of reflect on the value of an individual image rather than the process of creating images and exploring and doing all this stuff. I think it's not really, Midjourney, I like to say, isn't a fast artist. It's more of like a slow world engine, like a
Mm,
Pixar rendering engine where it used to take an hour to make a picture, and now video games do 60 pictures a second, and it looks better. So in a
mhm.
lot of ways, it's more of like this world simulator game engine kind of thing. And so I think as we go over the next year, we're going to be moving towards sort of open world simulation, and that's more of the goal.
Amazing.
And as we get to sort of an open world, real time world simulator, you're kind of just, I think it'll feel a lot different. And it's no longer about an image, you know? Just like how the world isn't an image and a video isn't just a sequence of images. It's going to feel like you're taking a video inside of a world or you're taking a photo inside of a world or whatever, you know.
One of the analogies I tend to use is that it's almost like going into the future and taking pictures. And you could take pictures of mundane things in the future, but if you take a picture of the right thing, like that'll have a major impact on the future itself. So, I mean, that's hard to deny that I mean, like you mentioned that it's used for architecture so much. Well, that inspires architects, and they're building upon these ideas to synthesize something better in their own mind. But literally, it's like being able to see the future is so powerful in the right lens. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and I'll let the other questions go on.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I mean, our logo is like a boat, and so I just a little more. It's sort of like a lot of people are using like robots or something as their logo, and for us, the boat it's sort of it's a vehicle, just like how a car is a vehicle for movement. We're trying to create a vehicle for imagination, and so the boat is sort of this vehicle on that has the wind and the sea, and you don't really have full control, but also you do have
Hello.
control. So anyway, hello.
Hello. I am French. My English is maybe not the best, but I will do my best. Um, so I am first really thanks for this tool of Midjourney. It's like I started maybe like more than 1 year ago, and I have started to achieve my goal to be a concept artist for game industry and everything. I just started with an indie game studio, and it turns out that Midjourney is really great for development of concept art. I think Midjourney is not only therapeutical. It's like when you know how to prompt with it, you can have also precision. How to say? Like I have some art background, and I have started also some machine learning courses. to understand how everything works. So I have merged my knowledge about art background and also machine learning concept, how to understand a prompt, how can an AI understand your prompt, and it's really powerful. Um, what I wanted to say is actually there is these things about this hate on AI art, AI generated image from traditional artists. I have tried to explain to some. I work with traditional artists who is my art director, and he don't use it, but he was really surprised about the workflow. How can someone who use generative AI programs with prompting skills, who works with someone who have a more traditional art background, and we just make awesome stuff with a gain of time also. So I wanted to know, David, what is your your thoughts about this hate on AI art, and will it end someday?
Will it end?
Yeah. Sorry. I tried to activate the head speaker because I don't hear much. Where is this? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. It's like I would like to have your opinion about it. About this anti AI movement.
Oh, um, most people who've been in the art industry for several decades tell me about how when they started doing digital painting, that people were really against it, and they would say it's not real painting and you're not really an artist. If you have an undo button, it's not real art. And there was a
Mhm.
lot of hostility and anger against digital painting and Photoshop. And so most artists who remember that in the 90s say that the current AI stuff feels very similar to that.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sure that photography was similar, and I'm sure that there was a pretty intense movement against playing recorded music in movie theaters. It used to be that all movies had live music because they didn't have
Yeah.
recordings, and when they moved to recorded audio, there was a huge rebellion of the musicians against this. And so it is pretty normal, I think, to have sort of frustration. And I think that that doesn't even mean the frustration isn't like the emotions aren't real, the emotions aren't like legitimate in some way. But it is interesting that we look back on recorded music in movie theaters and we're like, well, that makes sense. It's good that movies have recorded music now, um, you know, or it's good
Yeah.
that we have, it's good that we can record music. It's good that we can paint things on the computer. And it's good that we can take photos. So I think a lot of times when something is new, it's just scary, and I don't know what I can do to make it. I think the best way to make it less scary is to play with it, and I think that most people who play with Midjourney feel good about it. They don't feel bad about it. Um, yeah,
Yeah. But
I
I try to explain them like that it can be a craft about prompting. I mean, for example, actually, with the studio I work with, they ask me some custom stuff, like some artwork concept I need to do, but there is some direction. AI art. It's art. It's like I see a prompt like it's a pencil, you know, to draw, but your knowledge can be transposed in another form of creation. And of course, it's faster, but also there is more open doors to creativity to explore more horizon
Yeah.
with a gain of time. But this is what I try. This is what I try to explain to traditional artists. They all have art background and knowledge, and I tell them, really, with all this knowledge, if you learn to prompt, you can transpose your knowledge, and you will be surprised. You will be surprised with what you can create. And it's fake that when they say, yeah, you make an image like in 5 minutes. No, no. When there is image where you need to have precision, where you need to work out the anatomy, the texture, like a step by step, you make multiple prompts. You try to merge things. You discover yourself new techniques of workflow with prompting. This is what I do with Midjourney, and I explore more and more stuff, and it's really outstanding.
I'm happy you're
So
happy with that. And I think I would emphasize that, like, even though there are some people on the internet that are not happy, let's say that, it was 1%. Like, say that it was 100,000 people that were unhappy or something. Like, so even if there was 100,000 angry people on the internet, and that's a lot of people, like, let's imagine this: if one out of every 100 people who used Midjourney got angry, and then 100% of people who are angry used Midjourney, like, there's something fun to say here, which is interesting. I'm trying to figure out how do I say it really simply. Um, let's make some simple assumptions. If everybody who was mad at AI art had used Midjourney, which is obviously not true, right? Like, we know that most of them haven't used it, but let's assume that everybody who is mad has used it. And then let's assume that 1% of people who use it are mad. I think we would have, like, a million mad people, not 10,000 mad people. So it's one of those things where it's like the number of mad people out there suggests that, like, 1 in 1,000 people are mad, not 1 in 100 people are mad, which is kind of crazy. Like, if Midjourney made 10% of people mad, there would be, like, millions of people who are angry right now on the internet who said, I used Midjourney and it made me mad. So, like, it seems clear that Midjourney doesn't make people mad. People who use it feel good and they like the future, and that most of the people who are upset are people who just haven't used it. So, I think we just have to kind of take that, as a
yeah,
thing that, like, people who use it are happy. People who don't use it can just be scared, and I think we can't be mad at them. Let's just try to get them to play with it too. And I
yeah,
think every time people play with it, they seem to like it. So.
yeah. But it's gonna be also a standard, I think, soon in the industry because I see more and more companies prefer to use generative AI programs, and they are asking for people who are fluent with using these generative AI tools
Yeah.
like Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and so on.
It's, I mean, it's
And
kind of like how people, use computers to make images now. Like, it's not like a computer can make cubes much faster than us, and they can do graphs better than us in a lot of ways, right? So it's just, we're using computers to amplify our abilities. So, it's
yeah,
normal. It's the sort of the story of technology for a long time.
yeah, I am also trying to prove to many people that Midjourney, you can use it in a controlled way because there is some professional who have asked me, yeah, why you use Midjourney? Why don't you use Stable Diffusion? You have more control and so on. I have tried Stable Diffusion and other AI programs, but the output wasn't the same as Midjourney. I know it's about the aesthetics, but more about that. When you I mean, there is so much techniques to discover with prompting inside of Midjourney. I mean, it's endless possibilities. And there is when you work hard, you find out that sometimes in your prompt you can have precision with the output,
Hmm.
like you will do with stable diffusion. And this is what I try to explain. So I've had to prove it, so to be hired, and this is what I did with a book. So it was about just for example, they have asked me a creature concept design with an art style, direction, references to follow, the texture to work, and I have to step by step things. Like it's not just one prompt. There is many prompts. I have tried to merge many prompt techniques, parameters, tweak everything, and at some point, it's like I see it's like a labyrinth. You know,
Hmm. Yeah, it's
it's
almost
really
too
like
much. I worry sometimes there's almost too many things in there. Like I'm a little scared that it's too much sometimes. So, well, you
no,
know.
it's really good. It's really good because what you've made, it's like uh, uh, at some point, it's our job as users to leverage everything you've made and to find out like secret combination, secret techniques, and so on. It's really interesting, and I think for the people who say that in Midjourney you can't have control, it's fake. You can have control over the output with Midjourney. It takes time. Example, for one artwork, I can spend 2 days to make it, just one artwork. But with really with established plans, step by step, it's like as a traditional artist. I start to study my reference. I start to think about the prompting. I do many research on Google, many, because it's about the keywords. And I use also my knowledge about machine learning. It really helped me to have took some courses online about machine learning and deep learning to understand more your creation, what you've made. And when you merge that with art background, I think this is art. You can call it AI art because you're using the same knowledge as any traditional artist. It's just the medium that change. Yeah,
Cool.
this is what I
Yeah,
wanted to say.
I appreciate the story. Yeah, we're definitely trying to make things beautiful. I think we try really hard to make things. Like we put a lot of work into making things like tasteful and aesthetic, and I think more than anyone else, that's like the thing that we care about. Yeah, and I think it definitely. I think it shows. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the thoughts.
Yeah,
Let's
no
give.
problem.
Let's. We're gonna give some more people time to come up and ask some questions.
Sure. Thanks for
Yeah,
talking.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Hey, David.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I haven't been up here in a while. I wanted to talk about. I was wondering if maybe I could talk about prompt battles a little.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I saw last week in the chat when you mentioned it. Somebody had said that people can vote for their friends and stuff like that, and that was actually a problem that we already solved. So I wondered if maybe there were people that didn't realize all the different things that we had changed recently, and for the better, I think. Um, would you mind if I told them a little stuff?
Sure.
All right. All right. So one of the things that we did do was we are aware of the fact that we used to have kind of a whack-a-mole problem where all the guides would be mainly attending to the fact that people would come into the room with open mics and we would hear private information or domestic things or whatever else. So we did implement a invite to talk only microphone situation. Um, And that means that if you tell us that you want to speak, we open up your mic and you're allowed to talk. And then you can talk and have a great time throughout the entire event. Or you can just type in text. You don't have to be a microphone person to have a nice time with us. People will show you how to play, what to do, and it's a really, really good, wholesome environment for anybody who wants to be there. And you make great friends and you have a really good time. We have changed the stage clock where we actually are streaming the clock only on YouTube now, because once the chat fills with over 70 people can't see what the prompt and the clock is. So I noticed that some people would get a little sad because they couldn't see the clock and wouldn't know the time limits, and I fixed that. Because we noticed the people talking last week, I wanted to mention this, all of this, really. That people in the chat feel like their entries aren't anonymous, and that's a problem for them because they think that people are just voting for their friends. So I implemented poll units, and this is a URL that we put up for every prompt, where the player posts their image, and all of them do. All of the players post their images to this thing called a poll unit, and it makes it anonymous. So it all shows on this beautiful page. You can only vote once. You can only post one image, and you can't vote for yourself. That's automatic. We don't have to argue about it anymore, or talk about it, or remind anybody, because it's just impossible not to do. And when the voting is over, the machine tells us who won, whether it's a tie or not. We've got no more whack-a-mole. We have poll units. We have a stage clock on YouTube, and we're retooling the gameplay instructions and banners to have more consistent to be more consistent with the workflows, and that's also good for the new players and people on Midjourney. But I wanted to let you guys know that just in case you ever came to prompt battles and didn't show up again for any of those reasons, we want you back, and I'd love it if you could give it a try. And that was that. How's David?
I'm good. Just a little tired. I don't know why. I think there's just like a lot of things going on, and sometimes I get spacey. But I'm excited to see are you guys liking the character consistency stuff? What do you think?
Oh, I love it. I just don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. Honestly, I am not having any difficulty at all with it because of what my definition of a character is, I think. But I absolutely love it. It's I think it's going to be brilliant. I would love to see what everyone else is using for prompts and how they're getting what they're getting. But maybe people could help each other out to see where their expectations are going, But it's really fun testing, and I thank you for letting me do that.
That's good to have everyone testing things. I think it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to shipping it. I'm like sad that we haven't already shipped it. I'm like, come on, ship it.
I think it's getting closer to being ready every day. It's every time I play with it, it's a little bit better. So it's getting there, and it's like for me, it's there. But I'm not the majority, so when they send it to you, it's going to be perfect if it's great for me.
I like the pictures where you made yourself an anime character.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be
a really good job of,
but it was fun.
What?
I don't know if it's going to be the initial release or not, but it's going to be fun. We had that.
Exactly. I think that one cool thing that I've been able to do with it is get my son pretty consistently. And it looks like him, but it's also a cartoon, so you wouldn't really know what he looks like unless you saw the actual images. You wouldn't be able to pick him out of a crowd. You know what I mean? But to me, that's what a character is. Like, I feel like a character can be played by anybody who wants to play that role. But also, like, it does have some of his facial features. Really, really cool. And I'm so excited for when you guys get to see it. It's so much more beyond what I'm going to be able to explain.
I'm excited to see what happens when everyone has it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone go to the
Well, it was
prompt
good to talk
battles.
to you.
Prompt battles are
Yeah, please
great.
come.
I'm pumping the prompt battles.
Yeah, and we have 2 days a week now. And so if anybody, didn't have the time to stop by, we are on Saturday from 3 to 10 p.m. Most Saturdays I might have to be late this Saturday because it's my son's last basketball game. But 3 to 10 on Saturdays, Eastern time, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays, Eastern time. I'll put the links in the chat so you guys can see them, but they're always up on the event calendar. And I'm going to step off the stage and let someone else talk. I know you probably get a long line foreman, but it's good to talk to you. It's been a while.
Nice hearing you too.
Have a great week.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I had this question pop into my head a couple months ago, but I was curious with, without having to divulge anything you have for the future that we don't know about yet. Is there any sort of feature that you found that Discord would be able to host and like it would have to be on the website?
Say again?
Is there any sort of like feature or something that you want to add to Midjourney but can't host on Discord and would have to be on the website? It's just a curiosity.
Yeah,
Because I think
we definitely want to do some like weird spatial maps and data exploration, maybe some 3D stuff, real time at some point where you can kind of like move through the world, stuff like that.
yeah, because I think I remember mentioning I was one of the people that don't use the website at all except for downloading images. So that was a curiosity in my mind because I'm sitting there thinking the only reason I'd ever move to the website is if there's something that Midjourney can't do on Discord.
I mean,
If that makes sense.
have you tried the Lightbox? You can just scroll through images really fast. Then the Explore page is pretty cool. It's hard to see like an overview of the community.
Right.
Like I go to the Explore page now for my main place to see Midjourney images. I think like the best place to see Midjourney images is on the Explore page rather than on Reddit or Twitter or anything.
Right.
I like collect. I just like a lot of Midjourney images. I just like click like.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the archive is cool. Like you can kind of like sweep. You can search. It's really good at searching your images too. Like if the search on archive is like really 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 fast, and search on Explore is really really fast. So search is really powerful. The script. I mean, right now like the biggest things are just the search, the Explore, the light box is really really fast. I think those are like the biggest advantages. Yeah, whether those are useful or not, it's a separate thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, like it's okay if you keep using Discord. I think the goal for the main website is to, the first and foremost is to let people who have a really hard time with Discord use Midjourney, which is increasingly a larger and larger number of people.
Yeah, I've noticed an influx of people joining into the voice that haven't used Discord at all before. Recently, I think the last 4 or 5 months.
Say again? The what? Last 4 or 5 months? What?
Last 4 or 5 months, I've noticed a small influx of people coming in that still don't know how to use Discord. And I think somebody randomly just tried to DM me from the server or tried to call me. Great.
I mean, it's, I'd like to say that Discord isn't that hard. It has 300 million people on it already or whatever. But it is also hard. It's like a 14-step process, I think, to get in. If you don't have a Discord account already, it is a lot more work than you would think.
Right.
Like if you already have a Discord account, it's really, really fast. If you don't have a Discord account, it's actually pretty hard. So it's unfortunate. but it's also like a lot to learn. Like Midjourney is already a lot to learn, so if you have to learn Midjourney and Discord at the same time, it's really hard for people. But yeah, like I agree that it's not that bad, but I think it's I mean, Discord's been great. Like I don't think we could be as big as we are right now without Discord. And I think that we're gonna want to make the website a lot more social. But yeah, it was kind of stay like just kind of keep an eye on it, and I'd be interested to hear whether you find anything like converts you at some point or not, or what you really like about Discord that keeps you there.
Right.
What's the number one Discord feature right now that you like that you don't have on the website?
I kind of feel like it's well, to start, it's more of the familiarity of just that being the thing used from the get-go,
Yeah.
and trying to force myself to use the website is just weird to me in a way. 'Cause I've noticed certain browsers still don't really function with the Office site well, because Firefox is that one browser that for some reason I cannot sign into, and it physically sometimes will slow the rest of anything else I've got open with Firefox trying to sign it in to the website. I don't know if anybody's mentioned anything like that.
Sorry about that.
Pretty good.
That's a good point.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we're gonna replace that soon, so it won't be a big deal. I thought we actually made it fast. Maybe not. But yeah, making websites is hard. Like,
Well, especially with the fact that you have to host 1,000 images, over 1 billion images on the gallery to begin with.
oh yeah, billions, and then on top of that, like, yeah, people are trying to use it on their iPad and on Firefox, and yeah, it's. I think it's a lot easier when you're making a website for like 10 people. I've never had to make a website for millions of people before. It's harder than I thought. Cool. Well, yeah, I hope you find some of the website stuff useful at some point. If not, I hope you enjoy the Discord. And we're gonna try to keep it good for everybody, no matter what.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, we're probably gonna make like a command line interface at some point on the website that looks a little bit more like the Discord, and that might be a place that's more advanced and where like features come and go more quickly. Yeah.
Right, that'd be interesting.
But I think they're trying to make I think the main thing is to try to make the website really friendly for new people. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's possible that we get something better for really big groups of people, like without like 1,000-person prompt party. We're gonna have like more ranking things. There'll definitely be some explore tools. We're gonna make like a style explorer hopefully in the next week or two. That will be really cool. And like you'll be doing you'll need like you're not gonna be able to do that inside of like if you wanted to explore a million styles, it's hard to do that.
Right.
Inside Discord. So I think you'll just kind of keep an eye open for it. That's all I can say.
We'll definitely do that.
All right.
I'll go ahead and drop down so somebody else can come up.
All right, well, let's bring some more people up. I kind of wish we had made a command line interface first, to be honest. Like, I slightly regret trying to make a website that has a GUI.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me up here. Long time no talk. I think we talked the last time 2 years ago. I was the person that always said Midjourney is my mind journey. So I'm really stoked for CREV, by the way. I think it's an amazing concept, and I hope it works really well because I'm kind of very hyped for it to finally try it out. So I'm very happy that it comes this or next week. Sparking off from that, every single time I'm sitting here and listening to you talking about the open world exploration future, I always come down back to the Star Trek holodeck experience. And I thought, what are you thinking about Midjourney in VR? Would it be a possibility?
I don't know whether Midjourney is going to be more of like a VR or an AR thing, but there's definitely going to be something of both. It's going to take a bit, like a year or two, but sometime in the next 2 years, you should be able to move through virtual worlds that are sort of made by these systems, and it should look better than today's like V6 Midjourney, which will be pretty wild.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine. Like, what I always have in my mind is, like, I don't know, putting on a VR headset or something, or AR glasses, and then just stepping into this area where I say, okay, here I want a tree, and then I design a tree with it. And then maybe I interact with it with speech and say, okay, I want a world, I don't know, I want to stand on the edge of a volcano, and it just generates this world around me. I think that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be hard. It's hard for me to fully understand what it's gonna be like, to be honest. Like, like it's easy to say that we'll be able to do it, but I don't feel like I can fully imagine it still. I mean, I've seen I've seen 3D Midjourney stuff, and I've seen video Midjourney stuff, and most people haven't seen those things. But it's hard to imagine the video and the 3D at the same time, and then being in the environment. Like, yeah, pretty scary. Pretty, very, 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 very real. It'll feel.
How did you experience like the 3D stuff? Is like more like models that you're talking about, or like 3D images?
We have like prototypes of different types of 3D Midjourney, and there are different pros and cons to them, but they do feel like a space. It feels a lot more like a space.
All right.
It's hard to describe. It has like definitely an evocative feel, and then the video also has a similarly evocative feel. So they're both kind of, yeah, they're both pretty intense, and then it's hard to imagine, but both of them together will feel even more intense. So I don't know. It's a bit surreal, I guess is the right way. I mean, maybe it's like literally surreal.
It's literally, yeah.
It's what is the word? What's the definition of surreal? Having what is the Oxford Dictionary? Having the qualities of surrealism. That's a terrible definition.
I mean, yeah,
The
it's
creative
basically
potential of the unconscious mind. With the erratic. Surrealism is based on the belief in the superior reality of certain forms previously neglected. Oh wow, surrealism is not like a nice definition. Wow, okay, it's one of those things. Well, no one
let's
has
make
like a
our own
nice
definition.
definition. No one has like a simple definition of surreal.
What
I
would
guess
be
it's like,
your personal definition?
for me, surreal has sort of I feel like in some ways surrealism is having both a quality of unreal and unreality and reality simultaneously in a way that makes it in some way almost like more evocative than the real world.
So
In some ways, I think that like the real world too is often some mixture of real and unreal, and so there's some argument that like anytime you encounter like the base, like something like the base of the universe, it sort of has this dual quality of both real and unreal. Yeah.
It's basically the unseen expansion of reality into
Yeah.
different set.
We should just call it virtual surreality. it,
It's amazing.
it sounded better in my head. Virtual surrealism, virtual augmented surreal. Yeah, it doesn't really work. VS,
What
virtual surrealism.
I wonder what Midjourney would output with this prompt.
How would you even, is it surreality? It's like reality, but with a sir on it. Virtual surreality. Yeah, very weird. I like making up new words.
Yeah, it's great. I sometimes do that too. And then I just plonk them into Midjourney. It
I
gets
love it how
wild.
on Wikipedia the surrealism is just like this is not a pipe picture. It doesn't feel to me that's like the best example of surrealism, but it is fun, I guess. For people who don't know art history as well, there's this famous picture of a pipe, like a smoking pipe, and it just says this is not a pipe underneath it. And it's a very famous art piece because, it's a picture of a pipe, but it isn't actually a pipe, I guess is the thing. It doesn't sound as cool when you say it that way. Does great art stand the 21st century meme space? I don't know, but yeah, Margaret, I can't say her name, but that's a great artist. I like their other ones more than the pipe, actually, with the giant orbs and the eye and the landscapes. Yeah. Oh, it's a great.
Oh,
It's a
somebody
dude.
posted the pipe. Yeah, I remember that.
Renee. Yeah, it's a dude. There we go. I'm not knowing much about stuff.
I'm also very bad with names, especially when it comes down to artists and art, like old artists and art that I don't have much connection to.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to think it was a woman, but I'm not going to hold it against them for being a dude.
Right.
Yeah. Any other questions I can answer for now, or?
Just one thing. I've been using the website a lot more recently. Like I was 100% hardcore Discord using Midjourney in the past, and I sat down to use like the alpha site. I think it's really great. It has some flaws that can be improved, of course, but in general, it's a way more fluid interaction with Midjourney, which I like. One thing I'm missing, though, and you talked already about social stuff coming, is like the community aspect from prompting in Discord. So what I thought would be a neat idea, maybe, is if people would be able to open a page and invite like other users or usernames to prompt inside of that page. So everybody prompts it gets basically a shared archive page. Something like that would be amazing.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna. That's sort of what we're doing next. So we're gonna have these sort of rooms that people can make images together on the website. It's pretty intense. Like I'm not sure how to do it right, but we have prototypes that are looking good, and they're not being tested with the guides and mod yet. But I really hope we can test them with the guides and mod soon, and should be good.
Amazing. It's good
Yeah,
news.
I think that's the biggest thing missing from the current alpha site is basically people being able to make things together.
Yeah. Watch out,
Yeah.
you're going to be a social media platform at some point.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was the problem, honestly, when we started Midjourney. We made three or four versions. We made a website, an email, SMS, and a Discord version, and then everyone liked the Discord version best. And I basically said, "Oh no, this means we either have to make it a social media platform from day one, or we have to kind of try to take over something." And so it felt like it'd be better to try to use Discord than it would be to immediately make our own thing. But it does feel like we have to kind of make our own space too. And so it does feel a little bit like we're making it does feel a little like we're making a social media platform, but I'm going to try to make it different. So I don't really want it to be like Instagram, you know? Like I think a lot of people want literally just copy Instagram. And I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the elements of that. And so we want it to be really different. More
Yeah.
about sort of collective exploration, rather
Yeah.
than sort of creating an image like, oh, I'm perfect and my life is perfect and look at my, my whatever.
Yeah. I mean, art
Um,
is a social experience. Like artists don't explicitly create stuff in solitude for themselves. But I also think that it would be wise to not go down this detrimental path of other social media platforms where everybody is just hoping to get the most likes and being famous at some day. I don't think that's a good thing. What I really liked in the beginning was like this this exploration map that you had, where you could just see connected people that are prompting similar things, or just traverse this node path down to find other people. That was an amazing thing, but at some point you took it down. I don't know really why.
sorry, which was it? It was the
It was on the legacy page, like some graph that you could click on and find other users that prompt certain things. Just watch the
there's a
gallery.
search. I think there's a search you can do like that. If you go on if you search on the Explore website, you can search like cat, and it shows all the cat images from other people.
Yeah, it shows the images, but it doesn't show the connection
Oh, it says there's a
or
username
like the
in.
grouping and stuff.
There's usernames. Oh,
But I
I don't
need to
know.
know the username, right?
No, the username is there. If you mouse over the image and you click the username, you can see their images.
Okay, and yeah, okay.
I think it's similar.
Right.
It's possible we had something else too before that was. I think it's pretty similar. It's a yeah. You could definitely just like look at people's images. I think there was a thing that was like see similar image, and that was like the similar images was a little bit more public before. If you want to do a similar image now, you have like if you want to see similar images to an image on it, you have to click the little like magnifying glass,
Mhm.
and then it will show you more images like that from different people. I
Really?
don't know if people click those things. There's kind of a lot on the website, honestly. Sometimes it's just too much. I'm a little worried.
yeah.
How do I stick it? How do we have too much in there? It's like too much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. The last time I came up here, I also asked you about the amount of data generated, like in a day. And you were talking about Midjourney having like multiple terabytes of data already.
Oh yeah, it's a
In
lot of
what
images.
in what spaces are we moving right now?
In what space?
Yeah, like we're definitely petabytes of data by now, right?
Yeah, petabytes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like we spend a lot of money every month on like I don't have enough money in my bank account to pay for the storage of the images. If I like it was like, David, could you pay for storing the images? I was like, no, I actually don't have it costs too much money just to store the images.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I like try to keep that much of my bank account anyway, but it's like, yeah, it's pretty expensive.
I would like to
Um,
see the hardware volume of that. Just pure hardware saving Midjourney images all in one spot.
oh, I mean, it's probably not that much. Like, you could probably store all the Midjourney images in like 2 or 3 refrigerators worth of hard drives. But I mean, the number of computers themselves are a lot more than that. Um, yeah, and it's also like we do keep multiple backups of everything, so you can't really lose images. So the backups, the redundancy, however that works, is probably more of a thing. But yeah, I mean the actual servers. There are a lot of servers. I don't know. It's probably like there's probably like more than a football field worth of servers. I haven't like totally. Yeah, there's probably like more than a football field of servers just to like make the images constantly right now. Um, it's a lot more servers than hard drives.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
can
GPU
imagine.
are where most of where it goes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I also think that the loading times for the images on the website are insane. Like I can scroll down with like an unlocked scroll wheel and it never stops loading. And
it's
it's
so
just amazingly fast.
That's like my favorite thing on the website.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the explore page too a lot. I mean, I'm just like in general, I love the explore page. I like just looking at other people's pictures. I probably like look at other people's pictures slightly more than I actually make images right now, which sounds weird, but it's fun just seeing like the different types of things and clicking like on them.
Yeah.
I feel weird saying that, but I make images too, but it's fun just like I feel like no matter what images I make, it's not going to be as diverse as just like looking at what everybody else is doing. And so sometimes it's just sort of nice to see. I kind of wish there was like a better way for me to somehow, I mean, in theory, I could like take different images and like I could say I want this image and then I want to make it a cat instead. But you know, I don't know. I feel like
Cat
I do
Cyberpunk
it
Wizard.
sometimes. It still creating takes more effort than just looking at the things. So obviously, I want Midjourney to be about creation, but I mean, the exploration thing is just it's nice. Like I feel like I don't really think there's another place on the internet where you see as many nice images sort of constantly being created. It sounds
Oh
weird.
yeah. And it's
Like
also like my personal main benefit from the explore pages is like the learning experience of it.
yeah,
So you can just look at stuff and how it's made, what people prompted, and search for similar things. And I think that's really important.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
when you create a lot of stuff, you need time to appreciate a lot of stuff. And there's so amazing work out there.
I mean, I definitely. It's nice to have like a. I actually I think I like just making with friends nowadays the most. Like I help somebody make something and we just sort of riff on ideas. I don't really have any projects right now. I suppose that's my problem. Like, yeah, I don't have any. I don't have enough projects right now to just to do Midjourney stuff for like. So I usually like take my friends' projects and help. I should do like a prompting hour with David, where I just help make people make Midjourney images. I've been meaning to do that. There's going to be a lot more explore stuff too over time. Like, yeah, I'm excited to see like a much more powerful explore page.
At some point in the future, we will explore the worlds created by our friends.
Oh yeah.
It will be great. Anyways, I'm gonna make room for some other questions.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for talking with me. Have a great day, evening, whatever.
Yeah, you too. All right.
All right, you want to do another lightning round or keep doing voice?
Let's do another quick lightning round. So anybody has any questions, like put it in the VC text and I'll try to answer things really quick. I want to make sure I'm getting everybody's questions. We haven't had our video right now. The video team is actually working more on like the data sets than on the actual models. Whenever we do a model that looks really good, but I think they're kind of focusing on trying to make like the real deal, which is like getting it's kind of weird. Like there's a lot of boring data work in just preparing the data for a new type of model, and so everyone's working on data stuff right now on the video side. I think they're testing some small things. We'll see. Yeah. Everyone likes to say like how's our video stuff is going to compare to everybody else's video stuff. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that our video stuff should be like it should be similar to how our images compare to everything else. Like our images look really good. Like the video is just like images. Anybody who thinks video is different from images, I think it's sort of like it's not honest with themselves. So obviously, like our video stuff should look as good as our image stuff. Yeah. We're going to reduce a lot of artifacts in V7, so V7 will have much better image quality. Also, much better understanding and like prompt understanding and text stuff in general. V7 should be pretty excited for V7 right now. I think it's gonna be a pretty big jump. I don't think we're going to release a version of Midjourney that runs on a GPU because we could make it Midjourney run on GPUs, which might be cheaper for somebody who has a $3,000 computer. But I think that making Midjourney cheaper for people with $3,000 computers isn't really like important. I do think one day we'll make a Midjourney chip like a mid chip journey, and then like you have to blow. It'll be a cartridge, and you have to blow into it, and that could be cool, maybe. And then maybe that you can run that locally. We're not doing transparent backgrounds right now, but we are thinking about it sometimes. But we're mostly working on V7 and the video stuff. For Style Explorer, we're going to try to do something that lets you explore style space. We don't know what it looks like exactly yet, but we're trying to see if we can make something that helps you explore the space of styles. For style control, we're going to try to have like a big checklist, like do you want the colors or the contrast or what from this image, and we'll try to take that over, but that's probably going to be for V7. We know how to do it, but I think it doesn't make sense for us to try to rush it. I think we're going to probably try to do something different for now, but we'll see. Like at some point, I just want to push V7 because it's going to be so much better. Do I play any competitive games competitively? I mean, I do play ranked ladder on StarCraft. I'm not very competitive, to be honest. Like, one thing I really dislike about the technology industry is how competitive everybody is. Everybody's like, I have to win, I have to be best. And like, just fucking make good stuff. Like, figure out what you care about and work on what you care about. And it's so crazy sometimes how people, like, a lot of people are trying to compete with Midjourney, not because they actually care about anything that we do. They just want to they just don't like it that somebody says that Midjourney is better than them in some way. So it's kind of fucked up. And then some people compete with Midjourney because like we make money, I guess, and they want to make money too. Which is dumb because I don't really want to make money. I just want to make things. I want to make things that matter. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry. I just like this competitive attitude in the industry. It's so toxic. I wish everyone would just get together and try to make the best possible world. But some people are just trying to have a job, I guess, and try to feel important. Yeah, I mean, the basics needs are important. Putting food on the table is important. But still, it would be better if we could work on things we're passionate about whenever we can. A lot of people who are competitive in the space, it's not like they need to do this to put food on the table. They could get jobs doing lots of things. So it's kind of weird. Anyway, moderation on image references. We're going to try to improve moderation, but it's still, our image moderation is not going to be great for a while. We're going to try to get the character reference out this week, but it might be early next week. Midjourney learns mostly from photos about what the world looks like, and then it eventually learns things like compositions and color and contrast and style. But the main thing it's learning is just like what is a dog and every species of dog and tree and grass and cloud. That's like most of what's going into it. We do have a team that focuses on aesthetics. We don't use the T5 text encoder. Things like minimalism are good. You might be able to use a multi-prompt to make it sort of medium minimalist. Yeah, I don't know. You can also like drop the --q and do like 0.5 and it might help. Or even like the stop early. Check out, talk to people in prompt chat about it. I don't think we're gonna have like physics commands, but yeah. I don't know. Will it plug into the orb? The orb will orb all. Yeah, there'll be a Midjourney orb. I don't know if we'll do a Midjourney orb, but we're thinking about different forms of Midjourney hardware. One is orb form factor. Thoughts on the Elon OpenAI public dispute? I mean, with most disputes, everyone's right in their own way. I would say that I know everybody for a really long time. So like I know Elon, I know all the founders of OpenAI. I don't know. I don't think anybody's super happy that like OpenAI is part of Microsoft. Like it's not super inspiring. Obviously people would like more open source stuff, but there are lots of reasons to not do open source stuff. But yeah, I think that a lot of stuff will probably get out in that OpenAI and Elon dispute, and it will create more transparency for people. And I think, that will be interesting. Yeah. What are most tech companies missing when creating technology? How do you envision the future? How does it inform your decisions? How much does your experience at NASA inform your building at Midjourney? I wouldn't say that NASA is one of my more influential things related to Midjourney. I would say that like my physics education is probably more influential. Physics is sort of a abusive discipline that teaches you a lot of things, but the most important thing it teaches you is not to be afraid. Like there's a certain idea in physics that you never know if a problem is going to be impossible or not. So you can't be afraid of it maybe being impossible. And so there's something there that's probably more influential. NASA, I kind of always wanted to work in space. I definitely learned some things at NASA, but I probably learned more at my other company, Leap Motion, which I was doing for 12 years. What do I think most tech companies are missing when creating technology? I think the problem with most tech companies is that they're tech companies rather than product companies. At the end of the day, people don't use technology, they use products. And so I think it's really important to think about not products from a capitalistic standpoint, but products from I am producing something, product. I'm productizing, producing. It's like, it's a similar word. I don't know. Similar roots, right? I'm producing a thing that people will use. And what do I want that to accomplish? And I think that most people don't think about that in technology. They think about the technology first, and they zoom in too far. It's not really about them. I think there's a problem where it's really hard to switch ideas, like switch topics in your head, and it's even harder to zoom in and zoom out simultaneously. And so I think what happens is very often in making technology, people zoom in so far they don't necessarily they can lose the universal view. And so I think when I make things, I try to have this sort of zoomed out view and sort of try to create a North Star. And I'm always trying to hold things to the North Star in the direction, the zoomed out view. I think that's relatively rare in technology. We're also relatively people focused. So a lot of AI right now is about replacing people. And we're very much trying to empower people, like make people more and explore what people can be. And I think that's sort of really important because we're people, we should care about people, right? Yeah, we're people, we should care about people, we care about people before technology. Yeah. I don't know. Wish I was a little bit better at speaking today. I'm sorry, everyone, if I'm a little spacey and less coherent than normal, but hopefully it's helpful still. Increase the pixel count. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely gonna have higher resolution and we're gonna have better image quality. The character reference is not meant for non-humanoid subjects, but it might work in some instances. Ancient could probably speak to that.
Yeah, I did a little bit of testing on it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I think eventually we'll have real locations and geography in the data set better. Yeah, that's definitely an area we want to improve. I don't know if V7 will do that, maybe V8, but I don't think Elon is trying to get money from OpenAI. I think they already offered him money and he said no. I think he said he would drop the lawsuit if they changed their name to Closed AI, which is a little funny. Yeah, I mean, he originally made the company to be an open source, open company that counterbalances Google because he was scared of Google controlling the future of AI. And so I think he's he's talked about this publicly, where he's kind of upset that he meant to create an open counterbalance to Google, and instead he created a closed division of Microsoft. I think he feels so. I think that's kind of is sort of not the thing he intended it to be, which I think is fair. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fair things on both sides, so it's hard for me to say. Like, obviously, OpenAI nearly died a lot of times, and they were trying to survive, and their partnership with Microsoft allows them to survive. There's a very strong argument that they would not have survived without Microsoft. So, is trying, and so like there's their views, like there's the truth isn't like a particle. It's more like where there's either one truth here or this truth here. It's more like a wave where many truths can simultaneously occupy the same space, even if they seem slightly inconsistent. Yeah. Yeah, the orb is more for 3D than for 2D, if there is an orb. Don't know if we'll train on GeoGuessr. We could train on a lot of things. I did see the 1-bit LLM paper. It is cool. Yeah, so I can talk a little more about physics being an abusive field, I guess. Like, it's pretty normal in physics to, like, most of the textbooks have homework problems in them that are unsolved problems, and they don't mark them as such. So it's very normal to be just doing homework in physics and just be given a problem that no one has ever solved before. And then you'll waste all your time on it and freak out about it. They never give you like 10 problems where one is an unsolved problem. They usually give you 3. So if you don't solve the unsolved problem, you fail. And so everyone freaks out about them. And so there's actually PhD theses on like homework problems in normal textbooks because somebody like actually spent like 10 years and solves one of the homework problems. And then on tests, they do the same thing. It's pretty normal to give someone a final exam with 3 questions and one of which is not solvable, just to like freak them out and try to not. You're supposed to like realize that you're not going to solve that problem or work on the easy ones first. Yeah, they do things like that all the time. And the idea is like you have to get comfortable not knowing if you're going to be able to solve something, and you have to get good at knowing if maybe you're out of your depth and how to prioritize time. And if you don't do that, you could spend your whole life on a problem that doesn't matter or isn't solvable. And you have to be comfortable with that, and you have to try to be good at avoiding that. There's a lot of things like that in there. It's kind of brutal. But they do it in a way that you never expect it. If I could have one person as a mentor, who would I have? I really don't know. There are a lot of people that are cool in different ways. Like Tesla is cool. Bill Gates seems cool in some ways. I've never met him though. When I was little, I used to say kind of like I want to be crazy like Tesla, but I want to be more successful. But I want to like successfully make a thing like Bill Gates did. Like he seemed like he knew what he was doing. So like I want to be crazy, but I want to actually build a thing that's successful on top of that. But I don't know if those are necessarily the 2 best role models now in hindsight. But it's like as like a 14-year-old, I would say stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely like Tesla more than Edison. I guess I liked Einstein as a really little kid too. I like Tesla a little bit more than Einstein because he was sort of so prolifically crazy. Looking for more questions. There is an orb. I mean, we haven't made any orbs yet. We've looked at orb stuff. Bill Gates used to seem a lot more cool. He's definitely not considered cool right now, but I mean, to be honest, like, yeah, you make a giant company that powers like most of the world's computers, then you like try to cure malaria, and spend all of your money, have like a giant thing trying to figure out how to save the most human lives on Earth. There's something cool about that. He explicitly has an organization trying to save as many human lives as possible with a given amount of money. Hard to poo-poo him for that. Yeah. And he's not afraid to work on problems that, would seem beneath people. Like I think he has a problem working on better toilets because that's something that's actually important for saving lives in some scale. You know, philosophers. I think the most influential philosopher is Zhuangzi. I can't say his name, but I'll type it for people. But yeah, I like Zhuangzi. It's like an ancient Chinese Taoist philosopher. I think a lot of ways I like sort of transhumanism and Taoism. So I'm kind of like a transhumanist Taoist. If I had to like ascribe to these weird things, but I mean it's not exactly true either. Like I want people to be better. I want people to transcend, but also like you kind of want people to be like at peace with the universe and flowy like Taoism. So, but you know, we're definitely looking at histograms and stuff. I mean, Zhuangzi is technically a Taoist, but he's not like a normal Taoist. Like there's sort of two different Taoisms. There's Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi. And Zhuangzi is like, I think I like his Taoism better, if I can say that. But yeah, I don't quite have the energy to go on a full Taoism rant right now, but maybe next time. There's a lot of great like transhuman, people like Werner Vinge and Charles Strauss, and like maybe even like Olaf Stapleton. I say a lot. I tend to read sci-fi or sort of like ancient Chinese literature. Peter Watts is really great too. I love Peter Watts. Do I meditate? I was like kind of an intense kid, so I started probably meditating when I was maybe 12, and I just kept meditating for a long time. And people don't talk about this that much, but if you meditate enough, you kind of just become meditative as a person all the time, and then you start meditating less, but you're just sort of meditative. It's kind of weird, but it's a real thing, and so it definitely had a big influence on me. Custom zoom and custom change AR. There is like a change AR on the alpha site. Oh, changing your prompt. Yeah, we should probably do that. But we're still trying to figure out how to. I think we have to change the user interface better. Like we're gonna change the light box a lot. I don't think we're gonna do a Midjourney at the Sphere, but in Vegas, but it would be cool. It seems like we're kind of starting to calm down a little bit. Do I have a lot of vivid dreams? Yeah, my dreams are pretty vivid. I mean, I either have like really vivid or very surreal, like reality fragments, or just sort of really, like really dark. Like I could just start sleeping. Like it's either like a giant black void or like really reality fragments or really vivid. It kind of depends on like the type of sleep I'm having. Area 51. I mean, Area 51 is where they test a lot of really cool airplanes. I don't really believe in aliens crashing onto the Earth very much. I think like you have to be kind of a shitty alien to crash a spaceship, I feel like. But maybe there are weird technologies being recovered from things. I mean, I think the best aliens aren't crashing. Maybe there's a shitty alien that crashed. Um, cool. Okay, so I think we're starting to Oh, here's a good one. Where do I see Midjourney a year or two? So I think our goal is to get to sort of real-time open world simulations. So you're able to like walk around a world that is effectively simulated in real time. It's going to be hard to reach that by the end of the year, but it might be possible. And then certainly next year it will be possible. I think you'll be kind of a ghost at first. You're not going to be able to interact with the world, but eventually you want to be able to interact with the world too. I think real-time adjustments on an image will happen too. So basically, real-time worlds involves three things: 3D, 3D, real-time, and video. If you can do 3D and you can do things in real time and you can do video, you can basically do open real-time worlds. Man, I'm like really spacey today. Alone or with others in the world? Well, I think there's lots of aliens out there. I'm big pro into aliens. Oh no, I don't think you want to recreate reality. That's kind of boring. I think the goal is to create this sort of shared imagination that helps us figure out what we want to make the world, what we want to make the world like, what we want to make the world to be. So if we can only create what we first imagine, we want to have the sort of broadest, most powerful imagination possible. Okay, so real-time generation. Yeah, real-time is possible. We have some prototypes that are pretty close to real-time, but it's not quite ready yet. Oh man, I really want to get some describe and real-time stuff out today. Cool. So I think we're starting to peter out. I wonder, should we have any more voices, or does anyone want a story? Maybe I can like work up energy for a story. What kind of story do we want to do? What kind of story do people? A Burning Man story? Okay, that's one. Any other kind of story? A boat story. Oh, ooh. Boat story. Yeah, let's do a boat story. So, why do I have boat stories? Okay. So my dad was a dentist. He's retired now. My dad, he loved two things when he was younger, like horses and boats, and he wanted to either have a horse ranch or a sailboat. And he became allergic to horses when he was early 20s. So he basically said, I guess that means I'm going to get a boat. And then when he became a dentist, he then got a boat and and he was going to go sailing in the Caribbean. And somebody told him, they said, hey, like, don't just go on the boat, take all of your doctor stuff with you. You'll need it. Just trust me. And so my dad basically kitted the boat out with a bunch of dental equipment, um, everything from like, morphine for paint, like to like scuba tanks that basically were used. So like dentists use drills that are powered by air, and so he actually had air drills that were powered by scuba tanks. And so he kind of had like a little dental office sort of on the boat. And then as he sort of sailed around the Caribbean and later Central America and South America, he basically would Sometimes when they needed money, they'd tell people like, "Hey, I'm a dentist," and people would say like, "What's a dentist?" Because there weren't really dentists out there back then. It was like the 70s. You'd say, "Well, I'm a dentist. I'll fix all your teeth." And they go, "Oh, please fix all of our teeth." And they'd form big lines, and you would fix people's teeth, and so it was kind of like a traveling, sailing dentist for a while. When they obviously, when I was born, there was like a land office, so it was more land based, but there was still a sailboat in our backyard, which we had a boat sort of on a river that went out to the ocean in Florida. So growing up, I grew up with a sailboat in the backyard that went out to the ocean, and spent a lot of times on sailboats. There was like a little crib on the sailboat for me as a kid. So we have a little sailboat icon, and sailboats have like a weird meaning to me because I kind of grew up on sailboats, and they were always sort of like a part of my life. I have a sailboat photo. Anyone want to see a sailboat photo of baby David on the sailboat? I feel like I should post it. That's a cute photo. Yeah, let's find it real quick. I think I can find it in 20 seconds or less. Doop-a-doo, where's my sailboat photo? Sailboat photo, sailboat photo. Baby David sailboat photo. Almost there. There it is. Baby David sailboat photo. I mean, this isn't like the most impressive sailboat, but it's, I wish I definitely have better sailboat photos somewhere, but there we go. Folder management on Discord. They made the file uploading harder. Here you go. Here's a photo of VC Tech's channel. Baby Dave on a little sailboat. See, proof of sailboat. So was basically always on lots of little sailboats. It's called a little pram. It's like a very beginner sailboat. I definitely tried harder sailboats. I wish I had like the lasers. I did a lot of harder sailboats, but kind of imagine basically. Yeah, I wore glasses, and yeah, it's possible right now. Yeah, that's Midjourney. Yeah, everybody's like a little kid in a sailboat. That's like, and a little kid in a sailboat right now. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, yeah. So I kind of grew up on sailboats. Um, yeah, either sailing with my dad or mom. We did these races. I would go on boats by myself. My sometimes my parents would play tricks on people where they would like they'd be on a giant sailboat, and then when another boat came by, they'd all go underneath really quick and make it look like I was the only kid on. I was like it was like a 6-year-old, uh, basically sailing the boat by myself. Yeah, but kind of what was going to have a good sailboat story. There's definitely like a cool time where we were doing racing like with a bunch of sailboats. I had 2 people on it was me and one other person. There were like 20 different sailboats, and the person on my boat got sick, and so they took him off the boat on a speedboat and took him back to shore. And then this big lightning storm came in out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the waves kicked up and the rain started coming down, and then there were a lot of little kids in the sailboats. So the motorboat started like throwing lines out to the boats and taking the kids in really fast. And they left me out there actually because I was like one of the more advanced kids. But it was basically me on a 2-person sailboat by myself. They're taking all the little kids in, screaming, and the waves are kicking up, and the lightning is coming in, and I'm out in the ocean by myself, and because they're taking all the other people in, and so the only thing left for me to do was to just point the sailboat back towards shore and try to not get hit by lightning or capsized. And it was pretty dramatic. And I remember this feeling of like, as all the other boats were gone, and as it sort of, there was no sound of people, it was just wind and lightning and rain, and the waves were kicking up. And I was on a boat too big for me, that's not meant to be for one person, and we're going up that the wave and down the waves and the wind, and I'm just trying to not let the boat capsize. Uh, was this really interesting moment where you think I would be freaked out, but the sort of like wave of calm came over for me, and yeah, and I just sort of felt okay, and it felt very peaceful even, and a sense of beauty even of like the waves, the lightning, and the storm, and definitely something cool about that, like a memorable boat, yeah, of like as scary as it is, it ends up seeming okay and even beautiful. Uh, and I just made it back, but yeah, it was. There's definitely a moment of that right now. Like this sort of scary waves and lightning and rain, and we gotta take our boat back to where we want to be. But it'll be okay, and I think there'll be a feeling of calm. Like there's a feeling of fear, of course, but then there's this feeling of calm, and then this ability to appreciate the beauty of the moment. So I hope we can get everybody there. That's kind of a neat story. Yeah, my dad had a similar story too, actually, where uh, I think a lot of sailors have this story where you kind of get stuck in a giant storm and you end up kind of feeling this weird sense of calm come over you and like the sense of beauty. My dad was in a more intense storm. He was like, so I don't know, it's somewhere in the Caribbean. Like there's no land. You couldn't see land anywhere. There were like these 20-foot waves. So like the boat is 27 feet, but the waves are 20 feet tall. And then there's lightning, and he had giant barrels of gasoline strapped to the side of the boat. So, kind of worrying like if the lightning strikes, it might like set the boat on fire. And there's a similar feeling of, oh gosh. And then like a sense of calm and like not even I think for him he was talking about how like it's weird he wasn't like, oh God, this or that. He was sort of like, it wasn't really about gods or spirits. It was sort of like you and nature and feeling calm and like just sort of getting through it. So there's definitely like these interesting moments as a sailor on a giant storm that I think are really sort of like powerful, spiritually sort of powerful moments. Yeah. um I think Nietzsche had a saying like the tallest mountains come from the greatest depths. So there's something weird, like there are these elements of like, yeah, these like storms that sort of build these strengths and calm, and something really cool about that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should have more cool sailor stories. But that's kind of like a fun little background about David and sailboats. Why, definitely a reason why Midjourney has a little sailboat icon. Not to seem selfish, but like a vehicle for imagination with the wind and the sea. It all kind of feels nice. Um, yeah. Um, cool. I think that's about it for today. Um, and thanks for coming, everyone. Thank you for being a part of the community. I hope everybody enjoys the features we released this week. There's going to be a turbo mode and a character reference and a new describe. And don't forget prompt battles. Prompt battles with Kiki Kong. We're going to try to get some really big updates out on the website at some point. Don't know exactly when it'll come, but definitely stay tuned this month. There's going to be a lot of stuff this month. And yeah, thank you everyone for being part of the community again. Sorry for being a little spacey today. I feel weirdly spacey today. I don't know why. But I hope everyone has a nice week. And have a nice day too. See you later.